Alright people, so I'm here with your Battleground 2016 review, and I gotta, preview, and I gotta be honest with you guys. I usually try to get my reviews up, or previews, I'm fucking up here, but I try to get my previews to pay-per-views up before, like, the Saturday, or the day before the pay-per-view, but I gotta be quite honest, I just forgot about it, because I have no excitement to watch this fucking shitty Battleground pay-per-view. They totally fucked up what should be a classic fucking match, being the triple threat of the Shield. They totally fucked up Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. So fuck this company. You know, they had an opportunity. Let me just talk about this first. Let's just get to the main event right here. So they had an opportunity to have a great match between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. Even though Roman Reigns is a total cocksucker who fucking sucks, they could have still had a great match, which could have been built up, because the Shield was a pretty big thing. I mean, even though Roman Reigns sucks, he was still a part of it. It would still be a good match despite his shittiness. It'd be a great match if they did it right. But okay, they have the fucking match at Battleground, which is a fucking shitty pay-per-view. First off, it doesn't have the prestige to hold a match like this. This match should be on like a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania, not a fucking Battleground. But okay. Then we find out Roman Reigns is suspended, and they still fucking keep the paper. They keep the fucking match, even though one of your guys is fucking there to build up what should be a fucking classic match. But instead, instead of postponing it till SummerSlam, they go ahead with it at this fucking shitty pay-per-view. You don't have Roman Reigns there, and it just seems like a normal fucking. They took, which has been a match that's been talked about for pretty much ever since the Shield's been broken up. This has been talked about a lot. Triple threat Shield match. You know, a lot of excitement around this match. And they've really turned it into what should be one of the greatest matches of the year. A classic match to just being an ordinary main event. But just me, I fucking didn't even have any excitement. I didn't even fucking remember to get my preview up. Usually I usually try to get it up, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but now it's going up a day before, because I don't have any excitement to watch this show. But let's get into the preview here. We have, I guess this is on the pre-show. The Usos versus Breeze Dong. What the fuck? That match doesn't even deserve to be fucking previewed. So fuck that. I never watched the pre-show anyway. It's a waste of motherfucking time. So fuck the pre-show. We have the Divas match here. Sasha Banks and To Be Determined versus Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Oh, you know, this, you know, here they go with the mystery opponent. I wonder who the fuck this is going to be. But I assume it's going to be like a return or some shit like that. It better not be somebody like Paige or some shit like that. I bet it'll be like an NXT diva. Maybe like Nia Jax. I know they just drafted her. I don't fucking know. And but we'll see what happens with that. I don't think it's going to be anybody too big, but I guess we'll see who it is. But I'm not. My hopes are not up. I think Sasha Banks and her mystery opponent will win, since Sasha lost there on Raw, and also, you know, it's a mystery opponent, so I assume that there's going to be some hype around it. So I assume the baby faces will win here with all the hype around them. I don't fucking know, guys, but I think the opponent will be somebody decent. I don't think it'll be too great. It won't be shitty. I don't think it will be too great. So we'll have to see there. But I think Sasha Banks and her opponent will win. And I think the match will be pretty. I think it'll be. Let's say it'll be average, because maybe I think they're gonna do some, you know, a decent return or something like that. Then we have the New Day versus the Wyatt family. You know, this is what I'm talking about, guys, with these pay-per-views. It seems like they're too close. You know, if they would have had like another 2 or 4 weeks to build up to this match, I think it would have been a much better match. But I don't know. It's just like they were doing good with the build and shit, but I thought they could have done more. You know, they had the whole, you know, coming to the Wyatt family compound and shit, and, you know, that was pretty good. But I thought they could have had some more promos, kind of built up the fact that Xavier Woods is scared. But still, nonetheless, it was an okay build with the amount of time they had. I mean, they could have had, like I said, they should, you know, really increase the length here between pay-per-views, which I think would be good idea. Would build up the matches better. So I think the Wyatt family will win here because this match is not, for some fucking reason, it's not for the belt. I don't get that. Why isn't this for the tag team titles? I don't fucking have a clue. But since it's not for the titles, I think the Wyatt family is going to win here. You know, Xavier Woods, I think, is going to get scared or some shit like that. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I'm going to predict the Wyatt family. I do think it's going to be a good match. I mean, it is 6-man tag. I think there's going to be some action going on. And, yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. Then we have Rusev versus Zack Ryder for the U.S. title. I mean, I like Zack Ryder. I think he's a talent. I think he has charisma. But this is why these belts are so devalued. Because you take people like Zack Ryder, who hasn't been on the show really since he lost the Intercontinental Championship a few months ago, and then you just stick him right into a U.S. title match. Which, it's like, oh, now Zack Ryder's #1 contender. Like, he wasn't even on TV like a month ago. And now he's just #1 contender out of fucking nowhere. It's like, what the fuck? So I think this is going to be a fucking jobber match. You know, Zack Ryder's going to hit the broski boot there. You know, he's not going to win. I don't think he's going to win, people. I think it's going to be Rusev winning. I think it's going to be a boring fucking shitty ass match. So there you go. Then we have The Miz versus, make Darren Young great again. Young. It's for the Intercontinental Championship. And then again, this is what I'm talking about. You take two fucking goofballs who have been on your TV screen for the last couple months doing fucking jumping jacks and fucking squats, and you know, you got Darren Young taking advice from a lunatic who's dressed like a total motherfucking fool, and you put him as #1 contender like right after he, you know, is rebranded as this Make Darren Young Great Again fucking retarded ass gimmick. I think The Miz will retain here. I think Darren Young will win here because, you know, he's kind of been on this momentous run, and they kind of seem high on this whole dumbass Make Darren Young Great Again gimmick. So I think he's going to win. I think the match is going to be bad. I mean, this is just a fucking dumbass match. Nobody gives a shit about it. I don't. You know, it's not like The Miz or Darren Young are great wrestlers or anything like that. So Darren Young will win in a pretty boring match. Then we have Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Again, this is a match that they could have done more to build up to. There was really no promos that I remember. I think it just seemed like they brawled. They'd like punch each other for a minute on Raw, and that's it. It's like that doesn't build up to the match good. We've seen brawls a million times before. You know, do promos. You can do a lot more with promos, with words, because there's, you know, you could only do so much by just throwing punches and brawling for a 1 minute backstage. You know, while those could be good if you know, do unique shit, I mean, you could do so much with promos, and they didn't really do anything with promos here, so, which is a shame. So, I think Natalya will win here. I mean, she just turned heel, so I think she's going to win. I think it's going to be an okay match. I mean, like I said, I don't really give a shit about it, but these two are, you know, pretty good wrestlers here, so I'm hoping for an alright match. Like I said, Natalya will win. Then we have Cena, Enzo, and Cass versus The Club. I would have much rather had just The Club versus, or AJ Styles versus Cena again. But now it's turned into a fucking 6-man tag match, which I hate fucking 6-man tag matches, because they're usually always fucking boring. I would much rather prefer a one-on-one match. But no, we gotta get a fucking, and it feels better when you have like one definitive winner. Like if Styles went over Cena, that's much better than The Club beating this team of Cena and Enzo and Cass. So I think it's going to be a pretty good match. I think it's going to be, like I said, same thing with the New Day and the Wyatt family. I think it'll be fast paced. I think it'll you know, have a lot of shit going on there. But I still would rather see a one-on-one match here. But I think John Cena and Enzo and Cass are going to win, since AJ Styles won at the last pay-per-view. I think Cena and his cronies are going to win to balance things out here. So there you go with that one. Then we have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Another feud they fucked up. I mean, these two people have really been feuding really ever since Kevin Owens came to the WWE. And, I mean, they did the feud on NXT, which was good. I believe it was good. I don't remember every fucking detail about it, but yeah, I mean, it was a good fucking feud in NXT from what I remember. And then they did it here on the main roster, and they could have done it well. They could have done it. I still think it was a little bit dumb to do it since they just did it in NXT, but I'm like, okay, you know, they're gonna go with it, and they fucking fucked it up. I mean, these two have a very, a lot of history. They never really alluded to their friendship in the past. They never talked about that shit, and it really pissed me off. It was, again, much like Becky Lynch and Natalya, really all these people did, two people did, was punch each other on Raw every week, and it wasn't anything that was that entertaining, to be quite honest with you. There wasn't many promos between these two, and they really did not create a bunch of tension or heat between these two people. It's they just didn't do it. This could have been a great fucking feud because these two people are like real life friends, so you could have built on that. But no, they didn't. Of course, they did not build on that. They just fucking. It's like another fucking match on Raw. It's like a fucking. They just put two people together and tell them to fucking wrestle. It's a typical fucking build. Nothing unique that's in the build up to this match. So. But I nonetheless think it's going to be a good match because these two people are good wrestlers. Just wish they would have built it up more to make it seem like a more main event caliber match instead of just another fucking match. So I think it's going to be a good match, and I think Kevin Owens is going to win because they seem a little bit decently high on Kevin Owens. So I don't know, we'll see, but I think Owens will win. Then we have your triple threat match for the title, Ambrose, Reigns, and Seth. Now, we've already talked about how having this match here is fucking stupid and how they fucking just fucked up this match. But I think, who's going to fucking win? I don't think they're going to give it to Reigns because he hasn't been here in what, a month, 30 days? He hasn't been here in a month. Now, I think it's either going to be Dean Ambrose or Seth Rollins. I think Dean Ambrose is going to retain. I just think that's the most logical choice for your champion to retain. I mean, Dean Ambrose has only held the belt, fucking month, so I think they're going to keep it on him a little bit longer, at least till SummerSlam. I think the match is going to be a good match. These three people obviously know each other well. They're obviously, I'm sure, probably good friends, so I think it's going to be a triple threat match, three people, so I think it's going to be fast paced. No DQ, so I hope they do something. I think they're going to do something with that aspect of it. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Even though a talentless fuck like Roman Reigns is involved, I still think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good, actually. I hope Seth Rollins wins. I wouldn't be too upset if Ambrose wins. I mean, I don't really want him to win, but I'd be like, well, at least it's not Roman Reigns. And that if Roman Reigns wins this motherfucking belt right after he came off of suspension, and everybody fucking hates him, that would just be the fucking worst thing ever. But we'll see what happens. But like I said, I think Seth Rollins will win in a very good match. However, this could be a fucking epic, fucking classic match. They could have put it on SummerSlam or WrestleMania. Could have built it up right. Could have built it up with Roman Reigns there, but no, they fucking fucked it up. So there's your WWE for you. I think this fucking pay-per-view is going to be pretty shitty. I don't think it's going to be that good. There's a lot of fucking throwaway matches on here, like always, like Miz versus that fucking goofball Darren Young. Rusev versus Zack Ryder. So Rusev versus Zack Ryder, another dumb fucking waste of time match. So there you go, people. There's your Battleground 2016 preview.